Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Another coronavirus case confirmed among evacuees quarantined on a military base in San Diego, California. That makes 14 confirmed cases in the U.S., but health officials warning the illness, now known as COVID-19, could possibly begin spreading in communities here at home. According to the Hubei Health Commission and an expanded criteria for clinical diagnosis, nearly 60,000 people, mostly in China, have been sickened by the illness, the death toll topping 1,300.
Yeah, they're starting to be a little bit more transparent for all of those people that are that protect China at all cost. You guys have been lied to, and you still don't see that. This is ugly, and it's going to get uglier. And the way that they were doing it, unless the Chinese government confirmed that you had the coronavirus, you didn't have the coronavirus. So if you went to a clinic and they said you had the coronavirus, unless the Chinese could confirm that, you didn't have it. Now they're like, well, we're going to have to start, counting all these people. I don't know how many people are sick, but I tell you what, things growing, and it's ugly, and it's getting uglier, and the worry is that it's going to happen here and something is going to take place here. That's still slim to none, but the economic side of things, and that's one of the things I was watching early morning markets, the Asian markets opening up on CNBC, and they were talking about, Xi's first, I told you this yesterday, his first response is always about the economic side of things. He can't lose that. That is what they're looking at him. You can't implement all of the things that you want to implement in China without the economic side of it. People are just a number.
Most of the diseases in China, however, we can and should be prepared for this new virus to gain a foothold in the U.S.
It's not going to happen the way that, And I've heard people that say they've had it are just like, it's like a cold, no worse than a cold. Doesn't mean we shouldn't be prepared for it. We absolutely should. But how much will it really spread?
Most of the diseases in China, however, we can and should be prepared for this new virus to gain a foothold in the U.S.
I don't know, Dr. Nancy. Are you sure about that? Are you sure? I don't know if I'm so sure that it's going to grow. And look, I was in San Diego past weekend with my son, Jack. So I'm there with my son, Jack. He's 9. And the area, I said this the other day, the area he lives in is got a very large Chinese population. There's a lot of Chinese stores, massive food stores and markets and the whole 9 yards. And we went to a Smart and Final just to get a couple drinks. And he wanted to get a Bang because his favorite YouTuber, likes Bang, which is like a monster. So we went in there, and there was several Chinese people in there that had masks on. And that's not going to help you. But it was interesting. I didn't, again, I'm not really worried about it, but there were some people I think people felt uncomfortable, right? And I've talked about this before. You see somebody with a mask on, the first thought that comes to my mind usually is that person's got a compromised immune system. But I was downtown Tempe yesterday, and I saw several students that were also wearing masks, and again, Chinese students. Many that are students, here at ASU and fly back and forth. So maybe, they're worried about spreading it or getting it, or getting it, I guess. So it's very interesting to watch, though, this play out and the way that we're handling it compared to people in China. But as producer Anthony and I were talking about just a little bit earlier, is the fact that you've got some cultural things, too. Yesterday, they were talking about how it's spreading through pipes, and there's some, you've got a lot of myths, and nobody ever really knows the truth. And in a place like China, you're not going to know the truth. You're not going to get the straight skinny. They don't care what the average person thinks. It's about the regime, and they're not going to let anybody else see what's going on. And they're trying to be a little bit more transparent. But at this point in time, I don't think anybody believes what's coming out of there. So we'll see. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Oh, here at home, we have another virus. It's called impeachment and Trump derangement syndrome, and it never ends.
This is a huge deal because this is about the president and then his attorney general interfering with the operation of justice, making it about something personal. This is about the rule of law in the United States. We have an independent Justice Department that makes decisions about who's guilty, who's not, what they're going to prosecute, what they're going to make suggestions for on sentencing. And we don't do it based on, hey, this is somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah, actually, that's politics, right? I mean, in a nutshell, it's politics. It's what it is. So they say Roger Stone was being over sentenced, if you will, right? And I think he was. I think the whole thing was a joke. And I've said I'm not a fan of Roger Stone. We've had him on a few times. He's an interesting character, to say the least. But the reality is I don't think the way that they were charging him, what they were charging him for, and how they're looking at 7 to 9 years, the recommendation, I thought was ridiculous. And again, I'm not a fan of him and his politics and the way he does things. Even this is our guy right here. This is our man John Kennedy out there talking about Roger Stone.
I'm not a big fan of Roger Stone. I think he's one of those guys that peaked in high school. But 9 years was a very strong recommendation. And if the frontline prosecutors didn't talk to the management at Justice about that, then it would have credited probably.
Yeah, absolutely. 9 years is ridiculous. 9 years is absolutely ridiculous for that. And it's such a weird world of craziness and arbitrarily. It should get this and you should get that and some people should get this and I'm like 9 years for that. Well, first of all, you don't lie. You do not lie to the feds. They hate that.
The notion that Bill Barr should resign is about the dumbest damn thing I have ever heard. If a United States senator really believes that the head of the Department of Justice cannot weigh in on what a proportional sentence is, I mean, there are child pornographers who don't get 9 years. There are people who rob banks that don't get 9 years. So let the judge decide. I think 2 or 3 years is about right.
Yeah, and I think that's true. And I also think, look, I think if they would have given him 9 years, he would have been pardoned really fast. I really do. But I agree 9 years is too much. Now, in saying that, everything with Trump blows up bigger. Everything with Trump becomes bigger. You're already hearing them talk about, hey, Barr should resign, right? Maybe it's time to impeach him. It's one of these things where you just sit back and you're like, sweet mamma jamma, does it ever end with any of this?
For the president to interfere in this and for the attorney general to evidently carry out his wishes was so outside the way the justice system operates. We are watching in front of us a president who now feels like he can do anything. And that means we are watching a descent into authoritarianism.
Is that what it is, really? Is that what it really is? Authoritarianism? And at no time did other Department of Justice people and AGs get involved in anything ever? Ever? But here's something.
I'm very concerned that the independence of prosecutors, the ability of judges to just weigh the facts and the evidence is eroding, that the president's taken a wrecking ball to that. And he was just impeached for that. We're not going to stop holding him accountable. We've learned when you hold him accountable, you can actually stop the corruption, whether he's removed or not. And ultimately, it's going to be for the voters to judge in November.
Nothing, huh? Like, you're already talking impeachment? Already talking impeachment? This is insane. And again, I'm over. I don't want to talk about this crap anymore. I don't care about Roger Stone. I thought he was over. I thought that it was overdone with the way that they took him down. And I thought this entire thing, I mean, Roger Stone John Kennedy was right there. You know, he peaked in high school. He's a caricature of craziness with his Where's Waldo glasses and his $1,000 suits and his tattoo of Nixon on his back and all of that stuff. It's insane, right? But it's part and parcel now of American politics. Is this now what we're going to be? Is everybody going to be screaming impeachment now on both sides? Is it going to be now weaponized? That includes the Republicans coming up, right? It's nuts. And let's not forget that, you know, other people have gone along with what their presidents have asked them to do. Other people have done certain things that have been AGs. So let's just all slow our roll here. But you're already talking about it's authoritarianism and it's impeachment and just shut up. Right? Don't you have a state to go try and beg to get you to vote for? Eric Swalwell, don't you have something to do? Right? Something? I don't know what it was, but something other than this. Weren't you running for president for like 45 minutes? Enough. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Happy World Radio Day. World Radio Day. It is. I'm excited. To all the people out there that listen, radio's been amazing to me, and I'm blessed. And I tell you what, it's still one of those things where, you know, newspapers, you're seeing today, McClatchy filed for Chapter 11, one of the big newspaper companies. The thing about radio is it's still here. It's still doing its thing. It's still going along, and it's changed. Don't get me wrong. It's changed over the years, but it's still rocking and rolling. And every time they say it's going to end, well, podcasts are here, this, that, and the other. You know what? Just another thing. But radio's still here. I still get in my car, and I've got satellite and everything else, and I still listen to radio a lot of the time. And then sometimes I just listen to silence because it's great. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. MyPillow, extra soft, super absorbent, luxury feel and look. What am I talking about? Their new towels. 5 designer colors. Absolutely incredible. Extra soft 30 by 56 bath towels, 16 by 30 hand towels, and washcloths as well. And here's what's great. Made in the USA, so it's 100% USA cotton. You get a 60-day money-back guarantee. And why I like the fact that they make all the cotton here, so it's great because there's no cheap fillers and softeners, none of that stuff. It's just 100% cotton. You will feel the difference. Now's your chance to save 30% off right now. Go to mypillow.com. You click on the new radio listener special. You type in code Benson. You save right there, 30%. 60-day money-back guarantee. Now's your chance. Grab it right now. MyPillow.com, new radio listener special. Type in code Benson to save big. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show, where the sensible center hangs out. Hey, you! That doesn't mean you can put your feet up on the table.
You're despicable.
This is Chad Benson.
It's Galentines Day.
Oh, it's only the best day of the year.
It started as a skit on the TV show Parks and Recreation.
Every February 13th, my lady friends and I leave our husbands and our boyfriends at home, and we just come and kick it breakfast style.
And it's become a thing.
Ladies celebrating ladies.
And less Lonely Hearts Club. So look for Galentine's Day sales, dinner specials at restaurants, even Galentine's Day deals on chocolate, champagne, and flowers.
It's Galentine's Day. Do we eat Manentine's Day, where we do Manentine stuff, which is basically nothing? I'll hang out at Buffalo Wild Wings, just chill. This is where guys go, right? It's Buffalo Wild Wings, man. You know what I'm saying? Buffalo Wild Wings. I love seeing all the crazy stuff because Valentine's Day is tomorrow. Just like the nutty stuff. Like, was it Heinz Ketchup now they've got together with a company and they're making like 1,000 boxes of truffles with like ketchup flavor, tomato flavor, and chocolate. It's just like, really? Really? Delicious. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Speaking of love, why not get a little love from the man who is spicier than anybody, Sean Spicer?
Hey guys, it's Sean Spicer with an amazing deal. This month, for the entire month of February, my videos that normally cost $400, over 50% off, $199 is going to give you the best Valentine's Day gift ever. What?
Wait, what? How much again?
$100, over 50% off. This month, for the entire month of February, my videos that normally cost $400, over 50% off. $199 is going to give you.
Did he say $199.999999? Seems like a lot of dollars.
Only costs $400, over 50% off. $199 is going to give you the best Valentine's Day gift ever. What way to say I love you? I'm thinking of you this Valentine's Day in a video from me. Giving the best gift that you can possibly give to that special person in your life. A video from me. Thanks a lot.
$199. So you can do that from Sean Spicer. Nothing says love like a little spicy. That is insane. Somebody's going to do it too, right? Somebody's going to somebody who's somebody who just loves Trump, and they're going to get that, and they're going to be like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. Thank you, honey. Thank you. Thank you so much. I can't believe you did this. You know Spicer's my favorite.
On illegal immigration, Kelly said that migrants are overwhelmingly good people and not all of them are rapists. He said on North Korea, the president's attempts to negotiate with Kim Jong-un are futile because he's never going to give up his nuclear weapons. And he adamantly defends Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, who was just booted from the White House, reassigned in the wake of his testimony on impeachment against President Trump. Kelly says that the president's call to investigate Biden was, quote, tantamount to an illegal order.
Yeah. And he said that Vindman, in his training, will know that if somebody gives you an illegal order, you're not supposed to do it. Right? You're not supposed to do it. Kelly, Bolton, the battle. It's the question, I think, for a lot of people come election night isn't going to be if politics that Trump does and the stuff that he wants to do is worth it, because I think a lot of people feel that way. I think the question for a lot of people is going to be, do I want 4 more years of chaos? It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Don't you worry about the coronavirus, kids. Luckily, we've got nothing to worry about. Not in this country. No. Why is that? Simple. Jim Baker. Yes, that Jim Baker, the Tammy Faye Baker, PTL years. He's got himself some stuff that's going to save the world. Save it. So if you think you're going to get it, you think you're in an area where you may find that there are several people in that area that potentially have come in contact or may themselves have the coronavirus, and you are worried that you may get it, Jim Baker's going to help you.
This influenza that is now circling the globe, you're saying that silver solution would be effective.
Silver solution. It's like this drink thing or something you take. Silver solution. Silver solution. It's going to help you, kids. It's going to help you ward off that virus thing.
Well, let's say it hasn't been tested on this strain of the coronavirus.
What? It hasn't? It's not been tested on this strain? How's that going to help?
But it's been tested on other strains of the coronavirus and has been able to eliminate it within 12 hours.
12 hours.
Totally eliminate it, kills it, and deactivates it.
Yeah. Deactivate it with the special deactivation silver. Now, any of you out there who happen to be a werewolf, I would probably stay away from this. But if you're just a regular person worried about the coronavirus, Jim Baker and this lady, the naturopathic doctor has got the silver solution.
And then it boosts your immune system, so then you can support the recovery, because when you kill the virus, then the immune system comes into action to clear it out. So you want a vibrant immune system as well as an ability to deactivate these viruses.
That's so good.
That's so good. It's like, is that Paul Lynn? That's so good. It's going to deactivate it. It is. It is going to deactivate it. The solution's going to be deactivated. When you take it, you drink it, and it's got little army men inside of it. And it goes around looking at, and it blasts away, neutralizing all of it, just neutralizing the coronavirus. Neutralizing. Plus, it won't allow any of the Chinese people to try to take over your mind, because that's what this is. Later on in the episode, kids, though, he goes full cuckoo.
America's going to come apart.
Going to come apart, America is. It's going to happen.
I believe there is such a hatred for our president, and I will say this, and you may say I shouldn't, but I'm going to say it.
Say it, man. Say it, brother.
If they can't get him out by courts and politically and put him in prison somehow, they want him to go to prison. They're applauding now for Trump to go to prison.
Applauding. Oh, God.
Go to prison.
Oh, God.
The hotel I stayed at, that's what it sounded like in the room next door early in the morning.
Oh, God.
Hold on, he's not done. So if they can't get him out politically, they can't get him out. They want to see him in handcuffs. Maybe you should get some silver solution. What are they going to do, Jim?
They will kill him if they have to.
God bless you, friends. Oh, my Lord. Silver solution. For those of you who want to know, on his website, you can buy it. He's got merch. He's got merch. It's like, that's what my son, the whole thing with my son, and in that age group, merch is huge. Like, merchandise is big. If you don't have merch, you're nothing. Merch is massive. And they're starting to realize that in the YouTube, Instagram influencer thing. It's about your merch. Like, you know how musicians make money nowadays. It's not from album sales. I mean, yeah, you will, and for some royalties, but you make a lot more money on the concert tours. That's why they tour. And that merch is big. Merch, baby. Who wants some silver solution? As a Christian, as a person who's a believer, whatever you want to call it, I look at this and I think to myself, oh, God, really? Really? This is just crazy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me your love, your hate. I'm sure I'll get a lot of it. You're just a bad person, Chad. You're just a horrible person. So imagine this. Firefighter tries to save woman, gets suspended for trying to save woman, and you only hear that. You're like, that's awful, but there's a lot to the story.
Overnight, the action of Atlanta firefighter Daniel Dwyer is being talked about by other firefighters, not only in Georgia, but around the nation. He worked what turned out to be a fatal fire. There was a team inside the house putting water on the intense fire. Dwyer, according to government records, went in ahead of his search team to try to get an elderly woman out. He did, but could not revive her. But his conduct got him suspended without pay.
Yeah, got him suspended without pay. People are freaking out over this. I can't believe that, right? You know, it's going around. It's on all the news things. You got all the talk show hosts and everybody go, oh, my God, oh, my God.
This is like absolutely ridiculous. This poor guy is a hero.
Absolutely.
Has anyone talked to the family of the poor victim? Are they grateful? I'm sure they are. Being, dragged out opposed to being in the house engulfed with flames and never seeing her the same way again.
But the reality is he should have been suspended. And look, firefighters will do things that we won't do, right? They run into a fire. We run away from a fire, right? First responders, they do those things. That's what they do. They have a different DNA makeup than most people. But there's also responsibility. And you would think a lot of firefighters, I think they're a little bit upset with somehow the way this thing's blown up and they're weighing in. But remember, it's not just about you.
It's not just Tennessee or a Georgia thing. This is a nationwide thing. And we've got policies and procedures across the board. The National Fire Protection Association's got guidelines for us to follow. All the departments that I know, for the most part, they follow them. However, we risk a lot to save a lot.
Yeah, they do. So they've suspended this guy. And the fire chief, who's new out there in Atlanta, has come out and talked about it and defended his recommendation to suspend the guy.
Now listen to the chief defending his decision late this afternoon.
While it might seem courageous and commendable to go outside of the incident command system and take it upon yourself, to do an act of bravery, you actually could not only jeopardize your life in the process, but jeopardize other firefighters who have to go in after you once you get trapped.
And I've talked to a few firefighters in the last couple of days. We've kind of talked a bit about this because we have some of them come in here and they do a show here weekly, and first responders across the board, police officers as well. And they've said, look, there are just certain things you have to do and certain things, because if you go into a building and you get in there, you're going to get stuck in there. You're going to cause other firefighters to have to make a decision about going in and saving your life in maybe a situation you should never have been in. Doesn't mean your first response is always to do it. And a couple of them, said, look, you get some guys and you know who they are early on in their career who kind of feel like they're hotshots. They're invincible. They're going to do stuff, try to become heroic. But by and large, most of them, they follow the procedure for a reason. And the lady who died was 95. And he got her out, but they couldn't save her. And I said to one of them, it's kind of like the Bo Bergdahl thing, right? Like Bo Bergdahl abandoned. He went out on his own. We walked away. But people were killed and injured searching for him, going out looking for him. And that's kind of what you guys are worried about, is you put yourself in danger. And they're like, yeah, kind of. It's very similar to that. And that's why they're procedures. So I don't have a problem with it. I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to mitigate a disaster. Right? And I said to him, let me ask you a question. If it's like a kid, do you say to yourself, it's a kid? Oh, and if it's like a 95-year-old, you're like, And they're like laughing and like, well, just asking. I'm curious, do you make a business decision? Right? Because I know if it was me, it was my great-grandmother was 95 years old and it was a horrible fire and I wouldn't want her to go that way. But I would say she's 95, guys. I don't want, you guys to perish. She's 95 years old. That sounds horrible. It's your toddler, your 5, it's a different thing. And that sounds horrible to say, but at least I'm being honest. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Love hearing from all of you. I do. Waiting for the hate to come in. Can't believe you said that about Jim Baker. Remember him? Remember all the stuff? Jessica Hahn, right? Paying off, him and Tammy Faye. And it's just, that guy's interesting. Now he's selling merch. Selling the merch. Speaking of selling merch, see what I did there? It's a segue. I'm selling merch, but I'm not promising it's going to stop you from getting the coronavirus or fix you. But it is going to make the sound quality in your ears so much better. Raycons. E25's best earbuds around, half the price of any other premium wireless earbuds out there. And at times, a third of the price. Compact design. Amazing, nice, noise-isolating fit. Great for taking phone calls when you're on the move, doing what you're doing. 6 hours of playtime. Bluetooth, seamless pairing. More compact design, more bass. You're going to hear the sound quality. It is incredible. Unlike other wireless earbuds, guess what? Stylish, discreet, but no dangling wires, no stems. They are amazing. Just incredible. Now's your chance to save big. Already saving just on the base price, but you're also going to save 15% right now. Go Go to buyraycon.com/Chad, buyraycon.com/Chad, buyraycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
It was an exoneration of the president. It spent, countless taxpayer dollars and, of course, several years coming to that conclusion. So, whatever grievance they have, whatever they're upset about, that's something you'd have to ask them.
Yeah, as the prosecutors of the Stone case resigning and it's all this stuff. You just sit back and you laugh. You just laugh. You're like, this is the craziness of what is modern politics nowadays, right? You resign, you quit, your anger. It's everything. It's overblown. Like not everything is impeachable. Like everything. Trump joked about it early this week or last week that, hey, they're going to come get me again. They're waiting for me to cross the street wrong, and they're going to come and they're going to get me. And you're like, well, that's stupid, but yet at the same time, hilariously fun because, yeah, I think they would. And I've continued to say, as much as there's so much about, I didn't like the phone call I could care less about. The stuff that led up to it, it was the real problem with this whole Ukraine thing. So I can care less about the rest of that crap. Right? There was some serious issues there. Do I think it crossed the line to the point of he should be removed? No. I would have censured him and we could have moved on with our lives. But everything is that. And it's the whole thing with somebody like Capone, right? Like they're going to go until they get what they think is the criminal, which is Trump, and they don't care what it is. But eventually you're going to lose. I mean, they're now bringing people in and they're talking to them. And when that's all the media covers, they think there's nothing getting done in D.C. And that's the perception they have because it feels that way. It's the thing that continues to suck the air out of the room. And it will continue to do that over and over and over again if all that the focus is Trump and getting Trump and people around Trump. If that's all the focus is. And you're like, is there something else we can move on to? Yeah, totally. How about this?
As part of the event, the public is invited to submit the names of former lovers, bad bosses, disgruntled employees, anyone really. The name is then assigned to a cockroach, which is then fed to one of the zoo's meerkats. El Paso Zoo Director Joe Montesano upped the ante this year, offering to eat a cockroach for every $1,000 donated.
So now I'm up to, I think, 9 or 10 of these I have to eat.
Now he's trying to psych himself up.
In certain parts of the world, they're a delicacy.
Montesano's fine dining will be live streamed on the zoo's website tomorrow.
No. They're not the cockroaches you think of. They're Madagascar hissing cockroaches or dubias, a different kind. It's, I'm going to eat those things. That's what we're doing now, though. It's like, okay, and there's places where you can name a rat and they'll feed it to a python or a constrictor after your axe. You can go to Burger King tomorrow and you show, and some, not all Burger Kings, but some, and show them a picture of your axe and they'll give you a free Whopper. I think if you go to Hooters, you go there, and they will, this is what's funny, they will have a shredders on site. And if you can bring a picture of your axe and you can shred it, and then they're going to give you, like, you buy 12 wings, you get another 12 wings. It's the Valentine's Day fun stuff that's going on. But what if you're looking for love?
Single and looking for love, or at least a date this Valentine's Day? It may not be too late. New York City dating coach Danielle Gelfand offers some advice. Start talking at a bookstore, on the train, standing in line, grocery shopping.
First of all, we don't do that anymore, Danielle. Partly because we feel that in the Me Too era, if you talk to first of all, talking to anybody nowadays, you ever walk down a hall and say hi to somebody who's walking the other way, who you don't know, but you're trying to be cordial, and they act as if you just mug them? They clutch themselves, they move over a little bit. It's weird. So talking to somebody, that's just not allowed. Yeah. I was listening to the radio, and this lady said that the thing we should be doing is talking to people and flirting with them and asking questions. And now, next thing you know, you're up on charges.
Striking up a friendly conversation or asking for help from a stranger, she says, can lead to romance. Women, consider hanging out where the guys are, like at Apple Store. Guys, try a cooking class.
Try a cooking class. Guys, try a cooking class. What's try doing that? Oh, my Lord. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. You can text the program as well. So you can name a cockroach after your ex. For the El Paso Zoo, a couple other places, you can feed a rat after your ex. You can go in and get free food because of your ex. Or if you're looking for love, just strike up conversations anywhere. Just awkward places. That's what I would do. Find the most awkward, weird thing you can do. And just start hitting on people. See how that works out for you. Get on the train or a bus in your local municipality and just start flirting with everybody. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program. By the way, if you want me to feed roaches, I have lots of dubias at my house. My big lizards love them. I will name one after your ex and feed them for free just because I can. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
What are the consequences of a victory by President Trump in 2020?
George, I honest to God believe they're going to change the nature of who we are for a long, long time. Our children are listening. The idea of a man who can belittle people, go on dividing us based on race, religion, ethnicity, based on all the things that, in fact, make up America, is just incredibly divisive.
That's Joe Biden with Stephanopoulos. We can't survive another 4 years. It's never going to happen. America will cease to exist in 28 months if we do not do something about Donald Trump.
You see these white supremacists coming out from under the rocks. He has yet once to condemn white supremacy, the neo-Nazis. He hasn't condemned a darn thing. He has given them oxygen. And that's what's going to continue to happen. That's who this guy is. He has no basic American value. He doesn't understand the American code.
Really? He's never, ever, ever, ever done it? Never once? Never once has he ever condemned white supremacies? August 14, 2017. We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence. It has no place in America. It's a lie. August 15th. I mean, you go through it, and he condemns it, and people still don't believe it. August 14, 2017. Race is evil, and those who cause violence in the name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans. Doesn't matter. Chad, you just fact-checked the Vice President of the United States, former Vice President. When I hear people come out and say, you don't understand. You don't understand that if we don't have a new president come November, the world is over. That is the biggest bunch of crap. That is a turd sandwich of epic proportions. Okay? Very much epic proportion turd sandwich. That's not the reality of it. First of all, stop letting politics dictate your life, right? Just don't. There's other things going on. Bigger things, right? You got work, you're planning your vacation, your grandkids are coming over, they're getting ready to graduate from high school, you've got a new business, you've got your dreams, you're doing your thing. 60% of Americans are loving life right now. Feel satisfied. New Gallup poll said what? 6 out of 10 Americans think their life is better 3 years on from Trump. That includes Democrats and Republicans. Now, politics has very little to do with my day-to-day being. I like talking about it. I hate the reality show television that this has become. But it is what it is, and so we discuss these things. It's the craziness that drives me up a wall, right? The oversaying of stuff, the hyperbole that's out there of, did you know that eventually Trump's going to declare himself a dictator and he's going to tear up the Constitution and blah, 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 blah. Stop it. Just stop it. I said the other night, I'm sitting there and I'm watching Klobuchar, right, give her speech. Hello, America, I'm Amy Klobuchar. And I'm thinking to myself, for entertainment value, sometimes I want to watch and see what happens if Trump loses in November, just to see everybody freak out. And on the other side, I'm like, I want Trump to get another 4 years because I want to see everybody else freak out. I wish I could have it both ways. But here's what's going to happen the day after the election in November. Or the day after they finally declare a victor, because who knows when that'll be. But the day after the election in November, this is what happens. I wake up, I go to work, we talk a little bit about it, and we get on with our lives. My kids will still be growing. Your kids will still be growing. The earth will continue to spin. Do you see what's going on here? The clocks will continue to turn. The sun will go up. The sun will come down. The sun will go up. The sun will come down. You understand what I'm saying? There it is. There it is. Work goes on. You have to go to work. You can't call in. Sorry, you can't call in. It's Trump. No. You show up. You show up. You do. That's what you do. But it's just amazing. I listen to Joe Biden or any one of these people who talk about how the world's going to come to the end because of Trump. I'm still waiting for, look, I said it the other day. I'm still waiting for Obama to make sure that we're all part of Sharia law because he's a secret Muslim, right? Never happened, by the way, for those of you not keeping score. I am still waiting for him to take everybody's guns, right? Greatest gun salesman of all time. I'm waiting for Trump to lead us into nuclear war and disaster, to declare martial law and take over everything. All right? I'm waiting for all of these things that everybody screams about. And just as much as Trump can divide, the Democrats do a great job with class, with political correctness, and with crazy things like, well, the world's going to come to an end if we don't get him out of there, and we're not going to be the same. No, one thing that is true is that. And it has nothing to do with Trump and his attitude and all of this stuff. It has all to do with how the courts have gone since he's taken over. That's very real. That is very real. And that will shift a lot. But some of this stuff is just insane. Just insane. But it is what it is. It's the world we live in now. And so it's about freaking out. It's about saying crazy things. It's about doing this stuff so you can get people on your side even more energized and even more terrified. So they'll be activated and fearing if they don't vote that something horrific will happen. And that's not going to happen. I'm just letting you guys know that. I know you don't want to hear that, right? Because you hate the truth. But that's not going to happen. I can guarantee you the day after the election, we're all going to wake up and we're going to have to go to our jobs. We're going to have to do the things we have to do. That's going to be very real. Some people may call in sick because they're devastated, but they're idiots.
Now, your tough on crime approach when you were a county attorney in Minnesota is criticized for disproportionately harming black and brown people. And when I look at that record, you failed to prosecute a single killing by the police during the 8 years you headed prosecutions. And there were more than 24 police-involved killings in that period. That's just one example. How do you defend that record?
That's Sonny Hostin on The View talking to Amy Klobuchar, is getting a little bit of run, talking about the fact that she was a tough-ass prosecutor in her home state of Minnesota, and that she super prosecuted as, same thing was the same thing that it got Kamala Harris really in a bullseye for a lot of uber progressive is how she was and how reared its ugly head with her and the things that she talked about, afterwards, but how hard she was as a prosecutor. Because the reality to this day, soft on crime still doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So they say a lot of things and they look to do certain things, but when they're in the position where they have to prosecute, they prosecute the hell out of people.
We all know there's systematic racism in this criminal justice system. There's no doubt about that. And I worked really hard when I was there, and I'm proud of the work we did to go after white-collar criminals, to use drug court in a big way. We had a very successful drug court, and we actually got a 12% decrease in incarceration rates for African Americans.
Yeah. That's good, right? Again, you're not going to make people happy in everything you do. It's like you go and look right now with Bloomberg, and it's very interesting with him because African Americans are starting to show real support, and they showed support for him even though there was stop and frisk. And I was reminding people yesterday that the people that he was stopping and frisking and disproportionately, quote unquote, overdoing it with and doing all of these things, those were in high crime areas. And he was doing as much to protect minorities and African Americans and other people of color based on what he was trying to do. He's come out and he's apologized. It's never going to be enough. You know that. But it's funny because people are coming at from their white guilt super wokeness. And yet I see a lot of people coming out going who are African Americans saying, no, I understand why he did it. Right? I do. I understand why he did it. So it's very interesting. But for her, the reality is she's got some stuff that's going to, now that she's in the Amy Klobuchar and Amy's armies in the eye of the country because she's done well for the last two and she surprised people, that she needs the boost when it comes to funding and to try to grow her name. But now people will start to look at the record a little bit better. The shine comes off. And that is uncomfortable for a lot of people because it doesn't matter what you do. If you run for office nowadays and you're older than 2, you probably have something to answer for.
Your record as a prosecutor matters as well. And when you campaigned for the Senate, you cited your prosecution of 16-year-old black teenager Mayan Burrell as an example of having been an aggressive prosecutor. As you know, I was a prosecutor as well. I've reviewed the facts of that case, and it is one of the most flawed investigations and prosecutions that I think I have ever seen. How do you defend something like that to someone like me who is the mother of a black teenager? This case would be my worst nightmare.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, just because you're the mother of a black teenager or a teenager in general doesn't mean how she prosecuted the case was wrong. Where it's like, oh, well, you're a mom of a black teenager? Well, you're right. I was wrong in that. No. But were there some flaws? Potential. Should they review it? Absolutely. Can law enforcement overstep? Yes.
All of the evidence needs to be immediately reviewed in that case. The past evidence and also any new evidence that has come forward. I've called for that. And I think you and I both share that background.
Well, you're a U.S. Senator now. You're a powerful woman. What do you intend to do to right this wrong?
I've called for the office and the courts to review the evidence. That is what we must do in the justice system.
So you go and review it, and you do that. Just out of curiosity, did you use a kid and a prosecution to help further yourself and your career? Was it politically motivated? These are things that are coming out. She doesn't sound too comfortable in answering some of these things. Sonny Hostin there in The View, I think, got under her skin. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You know, one of the things about being somebody running for president, whether you like Trump or hate Trump, you have to be willing to plow through. People come at you. You've got to be willing to go at them hard and plow around it and through it and over it. That's absolutely. It's one of the things about Bernie, man. Bernie just plows through. They're very similar and polar opposite at the same time. Love it. Need it. You should get it. I've got 2 cars, kids. I've got a modern car with all the trimmings. It's got the little TV screen thing, and it's got the digital stuff, and I can do it, and I can get the internet, and it's got all that stuff. Camera, the whole 9 yards, right? Then I got an older car, which I love, and I still drive a lot, and that doesn't have any of that stuff. But I have Car Shield for both. 2 different plans. One, a more modern plan for all of the trimmings, and one, a lesser plan for the basics. Sometime in the future, maybe not tomorrow, you're not going to have a warranty anymore. Or maybe your warranty's already expired, and you're thinking to yourself, I like my car. I'd like to protect it. That's where Car Shield comes in. Affordable protection plans that can save you thousands in covered repairs, including all of the fixins, as I call it. What you get is 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop being fixed. The shop is the shop that you choose. They get them paid directly. You pay a deductible. Plans start as low as $99. Now is your chance to get yourself covered. Go to carshield.com today. Use code Benson. Save you 10%. But better yet, tell them what you're looking for. Call them up, 800-CAR-6000. Mention code Benson. Saves you 10%. 800-CAR-6000. Code Benson. Again, 10% savings. Tell them what you're looking for, and they'll get you fixed up. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Plea deal this.
Mueller, arrest me.
Chad will trade you 2 perjury charges for 1 collusion and throw in a reduced charge of obstruction for free.
Yeah, I'd do that.
For just listening to The Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? All right, let's start in the world of Twitter. What is trending today? Lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. Folklore Thursday. It's trending. Thankful Thursday. Kansas City radio. Playing on a Kansas City radio station is Russian propaganda. What? This on Radio Day? Worldwide Radio Day? Radio Sputnik, a propaganda arm of the Russian government, begins broadcasting on 3 Kansas City area radio stations during drive time? What? No, this can't be true. Where is Moose and Squirrel? Yeah. Galentines Day. Valentine's Day. All trending. And McClatchy newspapers no longer doing well. They have now filed for Chapter 11. Head on over to the magical world of the Google. I love this. Galentine's Day. If you don't know what Galentine's Day is, it's the day before Valentine's Day where all the ladies go out and have a breakfast, right? It was on, I think, Parks and Rec or one of those things, and so it's Galentine's. So you go out with your friends, your girlfriends. There's no guys allowed, and you go out and you just hang out, and it's Galentine's. And Jeff Bezos is trending. Reason being, he bought a house in L.A. What did he spend on the house? Not a lot. Probably had in his pocket $255 million. $255 on 2 mansions, including the legendary Warner estate, and the late Microsoft co-founder, Paul Allen. So $165 million for just one of the homes. The other one was a throwaway. 13,600 square feet, 2-guest house, as you do. Right? 9-hole golf course. Gotta love that. That's $165 million. Surpassed $150 million of the Chartwell estate. So that's not bad. Get me one of those. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. 'Tis the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Overnight, a surge in new cases of the potentially deadly COVID-19. China reporting nearly 15,000 more patients have been diagnosed, bringing the total to more than 60,000. The death toll now reaching 1,369. The new numbers coming after China started using a new way to check for the virus.
Yeah, and that way was not lying. It was so weird. It was like, hey, what's the new way you guys are doing it? Oh, we're actually telling the truth. It is crazy, right? Because, like, these people had it, but we said, well, we haven't checked them. Even though you guys are medical professionals, we are the Communist Party, and we override. And then we're like, oh, we should probably tell the truth. Because it's getting a little too big now. Not even us can keep this baloney down. It is growing, the coronavirus. It is growing. What will happen to it? I don't know. But it's everywhere. And it's on cruise ships. It's all over the place. It's on tour.
The World Health Organization says the coronavirus epidemic, now known as COVID-19, could have a catastrophic impact on the world. More than 45,000 confirmed cases worldwide. On that quarantine cruise ship off the coast of Japan, 39 more passengers sickened with the virus. That brings the total to 174, making it the largest cluster of cases outside mainland China.
Today is day 6. We haven't been feeling... Our appetite has gone away.
It's gone away. You're on a cruise ship. Does anybody understand how that works? On a cruise ship, you just do cruise shippy stuff like eat. That's all you do. Like, Carrie, you and I were talking about, you're like, I don't want to go on a cruise because cruises just feel like nothing but it's a petri dish of yuck. That's all it is. It's a petri dish. Yet I love cruises because I don't have to do anything. I float around. I'd be the only one fine. Because I don't want to interact with anybody. I want to go. I'll go. When I go on cruises, it's great. But that norovirus, too. Let's not forget. What if you had a battling norovirus and a COVID-19? So you got the yucks, and then you've got the other yuck. And they're like, fighting it out. But the coronavirus is growing. This is semi-real.
Melanie and John Herring have been trapped in their cabin. They don't have access to a window and can only get fresh air once every 4 days. Oh. Even worse, John's temperature spiked to 103 degrees.
You got a great big bucket of ice, and then we're doing cold compresses on John.
The potentially deadly virus jumped from that ship to the shore after a Japanese health worker inspecting the passengers tested positive.
Do you see how this thing can spread, though? Isn't that nuts how fast it can spread? So the Japanese worker got off, said, there's got some stuff going on up in here. We should probably watch out for this. And lo and behold, guess what happened? They got sick.
In the United States, 13 people have been infected. We're learning more details about the latest. A woman quarantined in San Diego at Marine Corps Air Station. The patient was one of around 800 who evacuated Wuhan, the hot zone for the epidemic. She arrived at Miramar and quickly showed symptoms. She was initially taken to the hospital, but then discharged and allowed to return to the base after a labeling mix-up made those in charge think she tested negative. Authorities caught the mistake Sunday, and she was rushed back to the hospital.
That's the area that Jack lives, by the way, down there, so that's not very exciting to know. Whoops! Oh, my Lord. It's growing, absolutely. Could it spread? That's what everybody's worried about here in the United States.
Most of the disease is in China. However, we can and should be prepared for this new virus to gain a foothold in the U.S.
What does that mean, though? Because you look, the numbers on flu are still massive. The numbers on flu and what flu does and how flu kills. And one of the reasons is not only compromised immune systems when it comes to the flu, but also a, laissez-faire attitude towards, well, it's the flu, I'll be fine, I survived this, nobody dies from the flu. No, a lot of people die from the flu. And too often, people let themselves get to a point where it becomes, you needed to farm it out sooner, and it becomes a real health emergency. And by that time, then it becomes perilous. So you got to be aware of that. The flu's still more dangerous than COVID-19. Watch out, though. COVID-20, whoop, You don't want that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Hey, the White House got a little hotter.
Hope Hicks is returning to the Trump White House as a counselor to the president, reporting to the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Hicks, who left the White House in early 2018, was one of the president's most trusted advisors, following him from the campaign trail to the West Wing. Most recently, she was the head of communications for the Fox Corporation. News of her resignation 2 years ago came the day after Hicks testified before the House Intelligence Committee that she had occasionally told white lies on President Trump's behalf, according to a source familiar with her interview.
She did tell white lies? No way. Yeah. The White House lies. I'm not going to lie to you guys there. They tell lies. Trump tells lies, all kinds of lies. Trump tells truths as well. And then sometimes he tells people things that are just ridiculous. And sometimes he tells the truth and other people try to spin it as, as this crazy lie. And you just sit there and you laugh. Right. You laugh. Like there's a meme that was going around. Like this is the kind of stuff that's out there. Who fact checks the fact checkers kind of thing. And there was this meme about, Bernie Sanders never holding a job and all of these kind of things. And the meme is trying. So when they fact check it, they try to explain all the reasons why this isn't true. He's never worked in the private sector. Well, he did have a job as he ran a nonprofit. It's not that, no, he hasn't worked in there. He's only done this. They try to, even with Trump, like it's not hard to catch him BSing, but sometimes you want everything to be a lie. Like I said this, it was last Wednesday. It was last Tuesday. So see, he's lying. So that makes everything he said a lie. And that's not real. Come on now. Come on, man. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Remember the magical challenge?
All right, y'all. So NASA said today is the only day that your broom can stand up on its own. And watch this. Oh my God. Y'all, no strings, nothing. What?
Remember that thing? That became this sweeping giant thing, right? Like this crazy, like, oh my God. And people were doing it. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. It was one of those. It just, next thing you know, I see brooms everywhere standing up. I'm like, what is going on? Well, NASA came out. By the way, they didn't tell everybody that. That was a lie. They did a video.
Did you do the broomstick challenge yesterday? Well, turns out you could do it again today.
It's just physics.
It's just physics. And they point out, as long ago as 2012, your bristles kind of spread out a little bit. It's bottom heavy, lighter on the top. You can balance it every day. People are still saying, well, NASA said so. I was talking to a couple of the younger people that work around here, and they're like, well, yeah, I saw it because NASA said you could only do it on this day, the gravitational pull. It's like one of those folklores or white lies, like with eggs, and they could stand up. It's great. But you see how stuff like can get out there? Right? And it can become something and spread. We were joking earlier about the virus, but that's another one of those things. Misinformation is serious. But you can't fault people for doing it because so many times it's presented as truth and it looks real. The issue with a lot of people is they stop there. They never go past. I went out to lunch yesterday with Michael Crow, who's the president of ASU, and we were talking about this in this day and age, that people will do the bare minimum. They see a headline, they read 30 seconds of something, and they believe that thing to be true, never actually going beyond the headline and a portion of the story to actually look of whether or not things are true. And that goes for politics. It goes for just about everything, right? It goes for just about everything in today's world, whether it's politics or pop culture or the issues with the coronavirus or COVID-19, as they call it now, is we've stopped being curious. You can't stop being curious. That's being curious and thirsting for information on something is the best thing. But because we've dressed ourselves up in whatever we'd like to, you want to identify as a woman, you can identify as a woman. You want to identify as a man, you want to. So now identity is everywhere. Identity politics is everywhere. And that includes not just your African American, transgender, lesbian, Native American, it's not even just that identity politics. Identity politics is across the board. But this is a perfect example of how something can spread. Even though it's innocuous, it's not going to hurt anybody. Nobody actually went out to say, well, is this real? Did NASA really say this? But because somebody thought they did, or it was put out there and somebody did it, it spread like wildfire. And it wasn't true. They didn't say that. But nobody found out. And I'm still seeing people talk about it. And it just makes you laugh. It does. It makes you think for a second. And that's how stuff spreads, no matter what it is, when it comes to politics or all this craziness that we live in and surrounded in this wild, wacky world we live, especially with social media, and how something overnight can spread like wildfire. And then when the truth comes out, though, by that point in time, the lie has been so ingrained, truth has a hard time overcoming it, no matter how many times you point it out to people. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter and your Instagram and everything else. It is Radio Day, World Radio Day. So celebrate radio folk if you can, right? Not me. But, it's hardworking people out there who bust their butts in the radio world. You'd be surprised that they do. I've always said we're the bowlers of the entertainment world. We are. We are one step above professional fishermen of the entertainment world. I don't even know what that would be. Mime? One step above mime. But we try to do a service. Try to have fun. I think we do a pretty good job here. A lot of other people out there. I see a lot of other radio people I grew up with are still loving the job. Still, it's their calling and their passion. But, man, they do it for peanuts. So, World Radio Day. Salute it. Hey, I'm an active person, as you guys know. Work out. Try to work out a lot. I only got 40 minutes of workout today. But you know what I did about 30 minutes before that? I took Beat Elite. It's from Human. It's amazing. Great company, right? And this stuff is awesome. What it's doing is it's helping me extend my workouts so much longer. And harder, faster. I'm working out in a much better way. I can feel my endurance level. I improve my energy levels, my stamina. And what it does is increases oxygen and the delivery of that oxygen throughout the body. So when I go to play soccer, I take about half an hour before, a little bit into 4 ounces of water. I shoot it down and away I go. And I love it. And you're going to feel the difference. So if you're looking, maybe you're doing HIIT, right? High intensity training, right? Maybe you're doing that, or just try this stuff and feel the difference. And I always put it to the test around here with all of my other coworkers, and I give it to them. And some of them, even when they've, they're like, well, I'm going to try it. And they're skeptical. And they're like, dude, it was really cool. You try it. You're going to love it. Do what I did. Take your game and your workout to the next level. It's called Beat Elite. It's from Human. Go to livehuman.com/Chad. Save 20% off right now. livehuman.com/Chad. livehuman.com/ad. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
Just in time for Valentine's Day.
6 women have taken the stand in the trial, all accusing Harvey Weinstein of sexual assault in, at times, graphic testimony. But the criminal case centers on the accusations of 2 of them, one in 2006, the other in 2013. The former filmmaker has maintained all of his sexual encounters have been consensual. His defense team will make its closing arguments today, the prosecution tomorrow. Jury deliberations are set to start next week.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Let's see how this plays itself out. I've listened, I've read some of the testimony and some of the stuff that's gone on, and You know, you never know. When it goes to the jury, you don't know. There's times you think the case is lost. Next thing you know, you look up and they find him not guilty. And you may think, nope, there's no way they're going to find him guilty. And they find him guilty. You don't know. You don't. Because the way they've painted it is, look at all of these things. They loved him. They wanted to hang out with him. Why don't you come around? You know, they've got all kinds of things that they're throwing at him is that he's this evil, bad person, and yet they're throwing stuff back saying, well, wait a minute here. Evil and bad, yet you continued to hang around with him. You continued to go around with him. You continued to see him. You sent him love letters. That is interesting. That's very, very interesting. And if you're a juror sitting there, must be going through your mind, well, hold on. He's all of these bad things, yet you continued to see him. Why did you continue to see him? Because maybe he's not all those bad things? Is this a money grab? Is that what you were after? Did he promise you something and then you didn't get something? Or was it not enough? That's a tough thing. It's not a slam dunk as I think people think it's going to be. I mean, there's no doubt everybody finds him a scumbag. In saying that, the way that they've painted this is interesting, for sure. It is. I still think they're going to find him guilty, but there are some questions, I think, even as a juror, that you would say, why are you seeing him? Not just for a little while. You're pursuing him at times.
Please have me to stay. That's a weird request, but the way that mayors get to know their cities is by literally walking through every one of the 32 boroughs. Being in other people's shoes, seeing things through their eyes, staying in their houses. That's what I found staying with Lorraine and Newham last week. It's what I found a couple of weeks ago. So please have me to stay with your family or just in your home, seeing your borough. Promise to bring a sleeping bag and a box of chocolates.
That guy is running for mayor of London, right? His name is Rory Stewart. And he's decided that his campaign is going to have sleepovers at his potential constituents' homes. He's going to bring his own sleeping bag. Don't worry. He's going to chat with you. He's going to find out about your life. And he is going to bring a box of chocolates for you. Box of chocolate? Yes, he's bringing a box of chocolates just for you. That's interesting right there. What would that be like? I don't think Rory has a chance, but he's an interesting character, right? And London, by the way, is filled with interesting people that would do stuff like this. But he's very serious. He's very serious. He's an independent candidate, too. And he's going to stop by, and he's going to relax. He's going to enjoy everything, and he's going to talk about his life, and he's going to learn about your life, and it's going to be a lot of food and fun and all kinds of stuff. And he looks very English. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Love hearing from all of you. Check out the Instagram. Go to thechadshow.com. Try to grab yourself a podcast there. Got a TuneIn radio app. That's always fun. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
James Carville, he said this week that core Democratic voters aren't interested in being in what he called a cult. He said they're not interested in socialism and revolution and other things he called foolishness, and that, quote, I don't know how you win an election, 78 years old, screaming in a microphone about the revolution.
Look, James, in all due respect, is a political hack who said very terrible things when he was working for Clinton against Barack Obama. We are taking on Trump, the Republican establishment, Carville, and the Democratic establishment.
Yeah, I try to tell people this, and I continue to do it, and I will continue to do it. Bernie doesn't like the Democratic Party as much as he doesn't like the Republican Party. He stands them a little bit more. I could stand you a little bit more because he needs them. He is not a Democrat. He is absolutely not a Democrat. He hates a lot of what they stand for because when you take off the red and the blue and you expose all the underbelly of it, they're in the same pockets as the Republicans when it comes to lobbyists and big money. He hates this. He wants his world, his revolution. And I love what James Carville said, because he's right.
It's just the country can't continue like this, and it has to have an alternative. That's it. That's the only hope for America. There's a certain part of the Democratic Party that wants us to be a cult. I'm not interested in being in a cult. I'm 75 years old. I'm just not a very culty person. Some people in this country want a revolution. They want disruption. You know, I don't know what, they scream at people. They go and bully people. I don't know how you win an election. I'm 78 years old, standing up screaming in a microphone about the revolution. Good God, we got to do something here, people.
He's 100% right. I mean, but this is the reality. Is Bernie right now feels like he's kind of got the momentum. I mean, it's not like he's completely pulled away from the pack, but he's definitely so far the leader in the clubhouse. This is a golf tournament, right? We use golf terms here on this one. Day one, there's 4 days. Day one, though, he feels like he's sitting in the lead.
I think Iowa and New Hampshire don't mean what Iowa and New Hampshire meant a decade ago. I think moving forward,
Iowa seemed to have an impact on Pete Buttigieg.
Well, did it? Because who's the front runner? Right,
the guy winning delegates.
But is he the front runner? He's certainly not getting the press of the front runner. And the problem is,
I don't understand how Bernie is considered a front runner. This is a guy that had more people showed up to the polls, highest turnout ever, and his percentage went down, not up. Yeah. His total number went down, not up.
Yeah, because there are people out there on the Democratic aisle that are scared, that do not like what he's screaming about. Revolution. He continues to say revolution. He continues to scream revolution. He says, man, we're going to get out there, right? And we're going to bang the drum, and we're going to be out on the streets every day, and we're going to convince these politicians. We're going to make sure that they hear our voice. He's not talking. His whole thing is the minute that I can't get the stuff through I want to get through, then it's time to activate and get out on the streets every day until eventually they give in. That's scary. That's scary. Here's what the media will love, though. The media, if you're looking at this from a purely entertainment standpoint kind of thing, right? So entertainment only. You're not looking at it as who's the best candidate. You're not looking at it in any other way. Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump is the media. The media wins either way. Okay? The media wins either way you go. Doesn't matter which way you go, right? If it's Bernie, they're fine. If it's Trump, the chaos continues. It doesn't matter which way it goes. That's the thing when you think about it. It's a business, right? I mean, we see today McClatchy, who owns a bunch of newspapers. Newspapers are dying. They're almost dead. Like, if they were in a hospital, they would be discussing right now, well, I think it's time to pull the plug. Right? Newspaper industry is dead. The entertainment news industry is alive and well. The media news industry is alive and well. And with news industry media, you need media influencers and people that will get you what? Clicks and views. Donald Trump does that. I talk to media people every single day. Some of them extremely well-known and high up. They live for Donald Trump. They live for Donald Trump. Chaos equals clicks. Clicks equals dollars. Dollars equals keeping your job. Bernie Sanders would do the same thing. Because they know with Bernie, you're going to get chaos. You're going to get more AOC. You're going to get the right side of the aisle to throw a kerfuffle. Watch what happens. So let's just flash forward, right? It's a year from now. Bernie's in office. You see all the people on CNN. You see all the people on MSNBC. You see all of those people out there. And when you go up there, what is it? It's one side. It's bash. It's crazy. They serve the audience. Guess what's going to take place? It'll start to be far more balanced. Instead of Morning Joe having 5 left-leaning pundits with somebody who is in the middle bashing Trump, you'll have 2 left-leaning pundits and 2 or 3 people on the right. Because it'll be more chaos. You're going to have more AOC everywhere. You're going to have more. That's what they want. So from the strictly, who would the media like to see? Not who's the best person to lead the nation. But who could potentially, if Trump was voted out, replace Trump with as much chaos and craziness? It's Bernie Sanders. It's absolutely Bernie Sanders. Who else would it be? Do you think Amy Klobuchar is going to deliver you entertainment value? No. Do you think Pete Buttigieg? I mean, after the first time he kisses Chasten and the right throws a fit and everybody freaks out, after a while it's going to say, nobody cares. They're moving on. Again, this has nothing to do with who's best in line. Bloomberg, while interesting, and I have no doubt could lead, he's not bringing entertainment with him. He's not doing any of that. So what's it about? Well, for the left, it's, because you're not just going to have the right side of the aisle going after Bernie. You will have the establishment Democrats, the James Carvilles and everybody else, also on the beat Bernie train. And they're all rubbing their hands together for the battle of Bernie and Trump live for 3 or 4 or 5 nights during the debate. You're just frothing at the mouth of the amount of eyeballs. We're talking 50, 60, 100 million people tuning in to watch the cantankerous old socialists take on the blowhard from New York in what would be a battle royale. Oh, they're ready for that like you could not believe. So if you have to ask them, who would you like to see in the final 2? It doesn't matter for the media. Either way, it's a win. Not who's best to lead the country from the Democratic side. Who's best qualified to lead not just a loud fringe minority, but an actual majority of the country, and maybe even heal a little bit. Because if you think Bernie Sanders is going to bring and unite the country, you're fooling yourself. But he will make it interesting. And at the end of the day, they like interesting. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I get asked at least twice a day by somebody when I'm out and, go to lunch. So, hey, I listen to your show. Oh, thanks. What do you think about Bernie Sanders? What happens if he wins? What are we going to look like? I'm like, we're going to look like we look now. But what about Venezuela? It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. Bernie's going to have more of a fight within his own party to get anything through than he will from the Republicans. I've talked to both Republicans and Democrats who say the same thing. He's not getting this stuff through. Never going to get this thing through. Not going to get any of this stuff through. That's why he talks about what? The revolution, getting out and scaring politicians essentially into changing their minds on certain things. Revolution, that's scary. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Could you imagine if they were marching in the streets all day? That's not going to happen. But I think that's what he wants everybody to think is going to happen. People get bored real fast in this country. We have the attention span of a gnat. So to think that people are going to be out in droves, you're fooling yourself. You're fooling yourself. Wounded Paw, amazing organization. Love them. Love what they do. Ernesto and has put this thing together. It's just the most amazing thing. They rescue dogs from shelters, realizing there's still a lot of kill shelters out there. and they train these dogs to be service dogs for our veterans, first responders, and their family. He always says, when I talk to him, he's always, Daisy built this company. It wasn't me. He was injured. He comes home. He struggles, PTSD, and many other things. He gets a rescue dog from a shelter named Daisy. Daisy changes everything in his life. It wasn't it was a rescue. It wasn't a service dog. But that's when he put one and one together and created Wounded Paw. And it's an amazing organization. They combine their love of dogs and their dedication into finding a way to help veterans. And that's when Wounded Paw was born. So they connect our furry best friends with our nation's heroes, our first responders, vets, and their families. Donating is easy, and they need your help. And right now you can. You can turn your extra car, truck, RV, even a boat into a vehicle for change. You're going to be saving a paw to save a life. Now's your chance to give. Great tax-deductible gift. They also take cash donations. Call 844-6784-PAW. That's 844-678-4729 or woundedpawproject.org. That's woundedpawproject.org. Chad Benson Show.
Well, get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
Nails! Everybody's got them on their hands, right? If you have hands, I'm sorry if you are without an appendage. I want to make you feel bad. But everybody's got nails. This is a girl as a warning for people who bite said nails.
To my fellow nail biters, stop what you're doing. I almost had to get the tip of my finger amputated because I bite my nails, so story time. So it all began on January 8th when I woke up with this green spot on my cuticle, and I thought it was a bruise or something, but turns out it was paronychia or a cuticle infection. So then on January 9th, I was about to go back to college, and I go to college far away, so I went to the doctor, and they prescribed me antibiotics. On January 10th, it was a lot more swollen and more red, and the green part had expanded, so my antibiotics weren't working.
So antibiotics weren't working. Now, she's saying it's because she bites her nails. That's probably why she got the infection. I'm going to point something else out here of why maybe she got the infection. But definitely she had an infection before she did this, but I don't think this helped. She's going to continue the story. She's not a great storyteller, but bear with her because she's on TikTok and she's trying her best and she's showing picture after picture of her hand. She did a good job there. She's not a great storyteller.
On January 11th, it got significantly worse. As you can see, it's a lot more swollen and a lot more red. And on January 12th, it got pretty bad, and it was really painful at this point, and my antibiotics, obviously, were still not working. So I decided to pop it after watching YouTube videos.
That's where I think she went a little south, right? Popping YouTube videos on, looking at that, and you got the Dr. Pimple Popper, and you have all of these things, and people like to watch that stuff, so she thinks she's going to take it into her own hands. And everybody listening at some time or another has done something like that. I just don't think she did it the right way.
On January 13th. So then I go back to the doctor, and turns out I have to have surgery. So this is me post-op with my finger, but I dead ass almost had to get my fingertip amputated because I bite my nails. I really do be vibing though.
She do be vibing, and she dead ass almost lost her finger. What? Have you ever done that with a pop something? Have you ever done that? You ever done that with your toenail? Your toenail, you get runner's toes and they start to turn black and they feel and then you have to go underneath the toenail and you relieve the pressure. I have to do that because of all the years of soccer. My feet are really nice and I take good care of them, but my toenails are busted because I've been broken so many times, stepped on in the whole 9 yards. But I have a feeling she made it far worse by trying to pop it. She probably didn't heat it. She probably didn't sterilize it. She just probably thought, ooh, I'm going to pop it. And she popped it. And it didn't go the way she thought. Pop, poppity, pop, pop, pop. Chad. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Lots of usual stuff going on in the world of politics. Some are heading off to Nevada, right? Bernie's going to have a little bit of pushback because even though a lot of the unions like what he's saying, they love what they negotiated for in their health care. And you've heard that a lot from union members, that they don't want to give it up. They don't want to be lumped into everybody else's health care. They don't want to be lumped into everybody else. They see that like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to be lumped into everybody else. I don't want any part of being lumped into everybody else's health care. No, please don't let me be lumped into everybody. We fought hard for this. This is part of our pay. This is part of our salaries. This is part of what we earn. I don't want to be. I'm just telling you that's his one little pushback when it comes to certain portions of the unions. Is that feeling of, we worked hard to get all this. Now you're going to rope us in there in hopes that they take that money they would save instead of getting us health care and they'll put it towards our salaries. But we're going to be stuck instead of having Cadillac health care where we can go out of pocket. Out of network. We can do all of these other things and we're taken care of in an amazing way that now we're going to be stuck with everybody else. And that's a worry. Again, be careful what you wish for. Be careful. Be careful for the word free, right? Be careful for the word free because all too often it's far more expensive than you realize. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Coronavirus is bad, but there's a guy's got a cure. Don't you worry about that. Oh, yes, indeed. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Don't you worry about the coronavirus, kids. Luckily, we've got nothing to worry about. Not in this country. No, no, no. Why is that? Simple. Jim Baker. Yes, that Jim Baker of the Tammy Faye Baker PTL years. He's got himself some stuff that's going to save the world. Save it. So if you think you're going to get it, you think you're in an area where you may find that there are several people in that area that potentially have come in contact or may themselves have the coronavirus, and you are worried that you may get it, Jim Baker's going to help you.
This influenza that is now circling the globe, you're saying that silver solution would be effective.
Silver solution. It's like this drink thing or something you take. Silver solution. Silver solution. It's going to help you, kids. It's going to help you ward off that virus thing.
Well, let's say it hasn't been tested on this strain of the coronavirus.
What? It hasn't? It's not been tested on this strain? How's that going to help?
But it's been tested on other strains of the coronavirus and has been able to eliminate it within 12 hours.
12 hours.
Totally eliminate it, kills it, and deactivates it.
Yeah. Deactivate it with the special deactivation silver. Now, any of you out there who happen to be a werewolf, I would probably stay away from this. But if you're just a regular person worried about the coronavirus, Jim Baker and this lady, the naturopathic doctor, has got the silver solution.
And then it boosts your immune system, so then you can support the recovery, because when you kill the virus, then the immune system comes into action to clear it out. So you want a vibrant immune system as well as an ability to deactivate these viruses. That's so good.
That's so good. It's like, is that Paul Lynn? That's so good. It's going to deactivate it. It is. It is going to deactivate it. The solution's going to be deactivated. When you take it, you drink it, and it's got little army men inside of it. And it goes around looking at, and it blasts away, neutralizing all of it, just neutralizing the coronavirus. Neutralizing. Plus, it won't allow any of the Chinese people to try to take over your mind, because that's what this is. Later on in the episode, kids, though, he goes full cuckoo.
America's going to come apart.
Going to come apart, America is. It's going to happen.
I believe there is such a hatred for our president, and I will say this, and you may say I shouldn't, but I'm going to say it.
Say it, man. Say it, brother.
If they can't get him out by courts and politically and put him in prison somehow, they want him to go to prison. They're applauding now for Trump to go to prison.
Applauding. Oh, God.
Go to prison.
Oh, God.
The hotel I stayed at, that's what it sounded like in the room next door early in the morning.
Oh, God.
Hold on, he's not done. So if they can't get him out politically, they can't get him out. They want to see him in handcuffs. Maybe you should get some silver solution. What are they going to do, Jim?
They will kill him if they have to.
God bless you, friends. Oh, my Lord. Silver solution. For those of you who want to know, on his website, you can buy it. He's got merch. He's got merch. It's like, that's what my son, the whole thing with my son and in that age group, merch is huge. Like, merchandise is big. If you don't have merch, you're nothing. Merch is massive. And they're starting to realize that in the YouTube, Instagram influencer thing. It's about your merch. Like, that's you know how musicians make money nowadays. It's not from album sales. I mean, yeah, you will, and for some royalties, but you make a lot more money on the concert tours. That's why they tour. And that merch is big. Merch, baby. Who wants some silver solution? As a Christian, as a person who's a believer, whatever you want to call it, I look at this and I think to myself, oh, God, really? Really? This is just crazy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me your love, your hate. I'm sure I'll get a lot of it. You're just a bad person, Chad. You're just a horrible person. So imagine this. Firefighter tries to save woman, gets suspended for trying to save woman, and you only hear that. You're like, that's awful, but there's a lot to the story.
Overnight, the action of Atlanta firefighter Daniel Dwyer is being talked about by other firefighters, not only in Georgia, but around the nation. He worked what turned out to be a fatal fire. There was a team inside the house putting water on the intense fire. Dwyer, according to government records, went in ahead of his search team to try to get an elderly woman out. He did, but could not revive her. But his conduct got him suspended without pay.
Yeah, got him suspended without pay. People are freaking out over this. I can't believe that, right? You know, it's going around. It's on all the news things. You got all the talk show hosts and everybody go, oh, my God, oh, my God.
This is like absolutely ridiculous. This poor guy is a hero.
Absolutely.
Has anyone talked to the family of the poor victim? Are they grateful? I'm sure they are. Being, dragged out, opposed to being in the house engulfed with flames and never seeing her the same way again.
But the reality is he should have been suspended. And look, firefighters will do things that we won't do, right? They run into a fire. We run away from a fire, right? First responders, they do those things. That's what they do. They have a different DNA makeup than most people. But there's also responsibility. And you would think a lot of firefighters, I think they're a little bit upset with somehow the way this thing's blown up and they're weighing in. But remember, it's not just about you.
It's not just Tennessee or a Georgia thing. This is a nationwide thing. And we've got policies and procedures across the board. The National Fire Protection Association's got guidelines for us to follow. All the departments that I know, for the most part, they follow them. However, we risk a lot to save a lot.
Yeah, they do. So they've suspended this guy. And the fire chief, who's new out there in Atlanta, has come out and talked about it and defended his recommendation to suspend the guy.
Now listen to the chief defending his decision late this afternoon.
While it might seem courageous and commendable to go outside of the incident command system and take it upon yourself, to do an act of bravery, you actually could not only jeopardize your life in the process, but jeopardize other firefighters who have to go in after you once you get trapped.
And I've talked to a few firefighters in the last couple of days. We've kind of talked a bit about this because we have some of them come in here and they do a show here weekly, and first responders across the board, police officers as well. And they've said, look, there are just certain things you have to do and certain things, because if you go into a building and you get in there, you're going to get stuck in there. You're going to cause other firefighters to have to make a decision about going in and saving your life in maybe a situation you should never have been in. Doesn't mean your first response is always to do it. And a couple of them, said, look, you get some guys and you know who they are early on in their career who kind of feel like they're hotshots. They're invincible. They're going to do stuff, try to become heroic. But by and large, most of them, they follow the procedure for a reason. And the lady who died was 95 and he got her out, but they couldn't save her. And I said to one of them, it's kind of like the Bo Bergdahl thing, right? Like Bo Bergdahl abandoned. He went out on his own. We walked away, but people were killed and injured searching for him, going out looking for him. And that's kind of what you guys are worried about, is you put yourself in danger. And they're like, yeah, kind of. It's very similar to that. And that's why they're procedures. So I don't have a problem with it. I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to mitigate a disaster, right? And I said to him, let me ask you a question. If it's like a kid, do you say to yourself, it's a kid? Oh, and if it's like a 95-year-old, you're like, And they're like laughing and like, well, just asking. I'm curious. Do you make a business decision? Right? Because I know if it was me, it was my great-grandmother was 95 years old and it was a horrible fire and I wouldn't want her to go that way. But I would say she's 95, guys. I don't want, you guys to perish. She's 95 years old. That sounds horrible. It's your toddler, your 5, it's a different thing. And that sounds horrible to say, but at least I'm being honest. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Love hearing from all of you. I do. Waiting for the hate to come in. Can't believe you said that about Jim Baker. Remember him? Remember all the stuff? Jessica Hahn, right? Paying off, him and Tammy Faye. And it's just, that guy's interesting. Now he's selling merch. Selling the merch. Speaking of selling merch, see what I did there? It's a segue. I'm selling merch, but I'm not promising it's going to stop you from getting the coronavirus or fix you. But it is going to make the sound quality in your ears so much better. Raycons. E25's best earbuds around, half the price of any other premium wireless earbuds out there, and at times a third of the price. Compact design. Amazing, nice, noise-isolating fit. Great for taking phone calls when you're on the move, doing what you're doing. 6 hours of playtime. Bluetooth, seamless pairing. More compact design, more bass. You're going to hear the sound quality. It is incredible. Unlike other wireless earbuds, guess what? Stylish, discreet, but no dangling wires, no stems. They are amazing. Just incredible. Now's your chance to save big. Already saving just on the base price, but you're also going to save 15% right now. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad, buyraycon.com/Chad, buyraycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
No need to fear. We promise we won't give you a noogie and make you cry Russia, Russia, Russia.
Who is the fearless leader?
Pooey.
Pooey, pooey, and double pooey.
What is your language? This is a family show, remember?
Pooey to families too.
Nostrovia. This is Chad Benson.
Getting to know you.
Just in time for Valentine's Day, there is a new dating app
with a twist. It takes looks out of the equation, at least initially. S'more is short for something more. The idea that when you're not just basing your attraction on appearances, you can make deeper connections. Joining us is S'more's founder, Adam Cohen. When I think of dating apps, I have to be honest, I think of almost exclusively the physical because you're looking by and large at pictures. Yep. That's not the case with S'more.
100% different from anything you've ever seen before.
Ever. New dating app. Amazing dating app. S'more. Which, by the way, doesn't mean something more. It means awful, horrible. What do? You roast the things? The graham crackers and stuff? Oh, it's just awful. I hate marshmallows. But this is interesting. This does mean something more. And it's the anti-dating app that we find. No more swiping right or left kind of scenario, if you will.
We have been called the anti-superficial relationship app by Forbes because our app is all about getting to know someone before deciding if you like them and even before you see them. So you have to interact with a person on the app and then their photos unblur and their private and visual content begins to unlock.
So as you communicate with the other person, yes, more of the picture is revealed.
Yes.
That's interesting, right? That is very, very interesting. So more you talk, more you hang out, the more you do stuff, the more you engage, the more you learn, the more you start to see what he or she looks like.
S'more, which, by the way, stands for something more.
No, it
because
doesn't.
The biggest pain point of dating is people don't talk. How could you ever be in a relationship with someone without conversation? So we're trying to start up that conversation mechanism. So we recommend 5 profiles to you per day, and we only tell you 2 characteristics about each person. And then you go on this discovery mission to find out more about them. You can listen to their voice, you can listen to their favorite music, even before you see how they look like.
So you have some insight into who they are, what
exactly.
makes them tick.
Exactly.
Which is, the whole thought process is, the more engaged you become, the less important looks are. Now I'm going to throw a monkey wrench into that. Men are visual creatures. Men are visual creatures. Looks still matter. And by the way, it goes both ways. Looks matter, both sides of it. Now, it matters less in certain things. The whole thought process, I think, in this is you really start to enjoy somebody's personality, and you're finding out about them, and you're enjoying more and more about their personality, and then eventually you're kind of really engaged with somebody, and next thing you know, you see them, and while maybe they're a, for lack of a better term, a 6 or a 7, you've engaged with them long enough that takes that number up to 8 or 9 because you're more attracted to it. Is it possible? Yeah. Is it a neat idea? Absolutely. Will it work for over 30 better than it will for a younger generation? Yes. Younger generation is they're not interested in that. It's too much time. They want instantaneous, right? Older generation, this might work if you're looking for something real. It's interesting on Valentine's Day. Think of something like that. I like that. I highly think that's interesting. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. I still love the fact that people are now texting me saying, that wasn't very nice what I was doing with Jim Baker. Really? There's no defense for that. I'm sorry. I don't buy anything he sells. And I don't mean like merch. I mean anything. His mouth is moving. I think it's all a bunch of crap. That's what I'm thinking about that. AMAC, Association Mature American Citizens, fastest growing over 50 organization in the country. Great organization put together by a man by the name of Dan Weber, who unfortunately passed away recently. But AMAC lives on in his spirit. And his spirit was looking for like-minded people who want to see common sense immigration reform, Social Security reform, things like that aren't going to affect you adversely, done in a real way for the people. On top of that, he also wanted to be able to offer an alternative to ARP and an alternative to so many of these other organizations out there and still give you all the benefits they do and more. And they do that. Retail, restaurant, hotel discounts. They'll help you. You have Social Security questions, Medicare questions, you call them up. AMAC will help you with that. It is a great organization, and now you have a chance to join for free. Go to amac.us/Chad. That's amac.us/Chad. There's no cost, no tricks, no credit card required, just a free 1-year membership. Go there today, amac.us/Chad, or call 888-355-1668. It is a 1-year free membership. It is on me. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, text the program as well. Check out the Instagram. It's where the kids are going now today. Going to the gram. Have yourself a wunderbar rest of your Thursday. Hey, I can see Friday. Night-night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.